Morning students. Today we will discuss about the atomic structure. That is the second chapter of your chemistry syllabus. Okay. This is presented by me, Vanid Ghatak, your chemistry teacher. Okay. So today we will learn about the Bohr's atomic model. Okay. So before we will start our topic, so we first look around the previous works by which the structure of atom or the study of atom has been done. Okay, so at first the Dalton have given the billiard ball model, then Thomson have given his plum pudding model. After that Rutherford given his model or given his theory, okay, Rutherford atomic theory, and then Bohr have postulated his theory, okay, and he has given some numerical data as well. Okay, later after the Bohr, Schrödinger, a German scientist named Schrödinger, have given his quantum mechanical model, and this model is the most scientific model till now. Okay, so before going to the Schrödinger atomic model, we will be doing the Bohr's atomic model. In the last video we have already done the Dalton's atomic theory as well as the Thomson plum pudding model and the Rutherford atomic model. Okay, we have also understood the drawbacks of the Rutherford model, because Rutherford does not explain the stability, he didn't explain the stability of the atoms. Okay, but on this drawback is being permanently solved by Bohr or given by the Bohr's model. Okay, so we will start our discussion on the Bohr's model or Bohr's atomic model. Okay, Bohr have given his model as well as he have postulated some theories. Okay, today we will know about the Bohr's atomic model, not his postulates. In the next day we will know or we will discuss about the Bohr's atomic postulates or Bohr's postulates of atomicity. Okay, so number one, what I have said that an atom is made up of three particles, that is electrons, protons and neutrons. The electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged, whereas the neutrons have no charge, that is neutrons are neutral. Okay, so due to the presence of equal number of negative electrons and positive protons, the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. Okay, due to the Bohr have said that due to the presence of same number of proton and same number of electron, same number of positively charged proton and same number of negatively charged electron, the atom as a whole will be electrically neutral. Okay, that is the number one. Okay, so later he has also been said that the protons and the electrons are located in a small nucleus. The protons and the neutrons, it should be writing mistakes. The protons and should be neutrons. Okay, the protons and the neutrons are located in a small nucleus in the center of the atom. Due to the presence of proton, the nucleus is positively charged. Okay, please correct it. It is not electron, it should be a neutron. Okay, so protons and neutrons are located in a small nucleus at the center of the atom. Due to the presence of proton, the nucleus is positively charged, because here in the nucleus two elements or two subnuclear particles have been present, that is one is proton and one is neutron. As neutron is neutral and proton is positively charged, so the charge of the nucleus will be positive. So the charge of the nucleus will be positive. Okay, so move on to the next topic, the next point, that is the electrons revolve rapidly around the nucleus. Okay, remember here have also been said that if it is the nucleus where proton and neutron is being residing on, and the electrons will be moving around the nucleus in a circular orbit. Okay, this circular path or orbit is called the energy levels or shells. Okay, so remember one thing, this, suppose here this is a this is a nucleus and here the protons and the neutrons are being present. Okay, the electrons will move around this nucleus in a circular orbit. Okay, in a circular orbit like that only. Okay, although my drawing of a circular orbit is not the exactly circular, okay, it is like a oval thing, okay, but You get it, right? So what happens? The electrons will revolve around the nucleus in a circular orbit, and these circular paths or circular levels have been called energy levels or energy shells. These energy levels or shell or orbits are concentrated into or represented into two ways, that is either by the number, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6, or by the letters, that is K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, these energy levels are counted from the center to onwards. Okay, so if we have the energy levels, like suppose here it is a 1, this 2, here it is 3. Okay, sorry, here it is 3. Okay, so here it is the center. Okay, so we will count the energy levels on from here, from center to the outwards. Okay, so on going from center to outwards, this will be this shell will be 1, that, or K, this shell will be L, or 2, this shell will be M, or 3. Okay, these shells can also be called as energy shells or energy levels. Okay, and this energy level or energy shells is associated with a fixed amount of energy. The shell nearest to the nucleus has the maximum energy, has the minimum energy, sorry, and the shell farthest to the from the nucleus has the maximum energy. Okay, so what you can say, that is, suppose it is a nucleus, okay, and the here it is a shell, and here it is a shell, and suppose here it is a shell. Okay, so this shell is closest to the nucleus. Okay, and this energy will be lowest. Okay, but suppose this is the furthest from the nucleus. Okay, this shell is the much away, or the farthest from the nucleus, so it will have the maximum energy. It will have the maximum, this orbital or this shell will have the maximum energy, and this will have the minimum amount of energy. Okay, and there is no change in energy. It is so much important. From the drawback of the Rutherford atomic model, the Bohr have conceptualized this theory on this point. So this point is very much important. Okay, so please note it down, or please listen it carefully. So there is no change in the energy of electron as long as they keep revolving with the same energy level. But when the electron jump from lower energy to higher energy, the energy is absorbed where same energy is emitted. Okay, so what is being called here, suppose this is the nucleus and this is the energy, sorry, we can do it like that. Suppose this is the nucleus and here are the energy levels. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so this is the number 2 will be the higher in energy, number 1 will be lower in energy. So number 2 will be higher energy, and number 1 will be lower energy. Okay, so if a electron move from this higher energy level, that is from 2 to 1, this 2 to 1, if an electron will move from this 2 to 1, from higher energy to the lower energy level, it will emit some energy. Okay, it will emit some energy. If an electron move from higher energy level, from higher to lower energy level, that is from 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, it will emit some energy, it will lose some energy. Okay, it will emit some energy. But if an electron is going from 2 to 3, that is from lower to higher, the electron will absorb energy. Okay, so remember one thing, according to the Bohr's theory, the no electrons while revolving around the nucleus in a particular shell, or in its own shell, or in its own in its own energy level, it will not lose any energy. Okay, so while revolving around the nucleus in a particular energy level or in a particular shell, the electron will not lose any energy. The electron will only lose energy or gain energy in two cases: when the electron is going from higher to lower, going from higher energy level to lower energy level, it will emit some energy. And if in the second case, if the electron is moved from lower energy level to higher energy level, or jump from lower energy level to higher energy level, it will absorb some energy. Okay, so while going from lower energy level to higher energy level, the electron will absorb energy, and while jumping from high energy level to lower energy level, the electron will lose some energy or emit some energy. Okay, otherwise the electron will not lose any kind of energy. That is why as the electron is not losing any kind of energy continuously, so that is why electron will not lose the energy totally. Okay, that is why as the electron will not lose the energy totally, it will not be collide with the nucleus. As if the electron is losing energy continuously, then in some time, then the electron will move around and it will collide with the nucleus. Okay, so if the electron loses its energy continuously, then in some time the electron will collide to the nucleus. Here suppose it is nucleus, and then it will collide with the nucleus, and if that happens, then the no atom will be stable. So it has this drawback was solved by the Bohr's theory. Okay, according to the Rutherford theory, Rutherford have given that the electrons will lose energy continuously, but so if that happens, then the no atom will be stable. So Rutherford cannot justify the stability of the atom, but in Bohr's theory, Bohr have conceptualized this theory, and by this theory we can easily explain the stability of the atom. As the electron does not loses its energy continuously, so it will not lose its total energy totally, so that it will not going to fall into the nucleus or collide into the nucleus. So that is why the atoms will be stable. Okay, if the electrons will not collide with the nucleus, then the atoms should be stable. So that is how the Bohr's theory have been explained the stability of the atom. Okay, and we have already said this topic. When an electron jumps from high energy level to lower energy level, the amount of energy absorbed or emitted by the electron. Sorry. Okay. So when an electron jumps from high energy level to lower energy level, the amount of energy absorbed or emitted is given by the difference of the energy associated to that level. Okay, if a electron moves from level 2 to level 1, the higher energy to lower energy level, the energy required or energy absorbed or emitted is equal to the energy difference between the two levels. That is the energy of 2 minus energy of 1. That is the energy of the second orbit and minus the energy of the first orbit. Okay, so the energy required to absorb or emitted is equal to the energy difference between the two energy levels or two energy shells. Okay, and the energy change is accompanied by the absorption of radiation energy, that is E equal to E2 minus E1 energy change, E2 minus E1, in where H is a constant, and this constant is called the Planck constant. From the black body radiation, what we are getting a constant named Planck constants. Okay, and this constant, the value of this H is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the 34 joule. Okay, and the equation is E is equal to H nu. Nu is called the frequency, and H is called the Planck constant. Thus value of 6.626 into 10 to the 34 joule, Planck constant. Okay, so by this equation we easily can convert the frequency to the energy. Okay, or vice versa. Okay, so I have given this a picture of the Bohr's model. Okay, Bohr's model of an atom, where the shells and the nucleus has been considered or have been taken as the orbit structure. Okay, here the nucleus is the positively charged, as we have already discussed, and the electrons are moving in the these circular orbits, and these circular orbits have been named as K, L, M, N, and also can also be named as named by 1, 2, 3, 4 etc. Okay, so that's it for now. If you have any doubt, you can always contact me. Okay, so thank you very much.